Hello guys, I'm go back to some Frosti-Town. Tonight I couldn't go to sleep. It's 2:36 a.m. So I'm sorry if I'm very low on energy. So the first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna create a cylinder. We're gonna create some of our own gyro cycles. So it's gonna be 100 vertices. We're gonna rotate it on the y-axis, scale it along the x-axis to right about, think right about here. I'm gonna go into this edge and we're gonna control B it to right about there. I'm gonna press Alt X and we're gonna symmetrize it, and by symmetry you can go over here and click it. Alright, the next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna select this edge and we're gonna press X and dissolve edges. We're gonna select this face and we're gonna delete this, and we're gonna select this face and we're gonna delete that too. Alright, the next thing what we're gonna do is we're gonna select these phases and we're gonna press Q, and we're gonna press Shift and we're gonna curve extract them to right about here. Press Q and go into mesh tools and we're gonna apply multiply. Alright, the next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna press Control Shift A and we're gonna create a circle RY 90, and we're gonna scale it to right about here. Okay, so we're gonna extrude it along the x-axis to right about here. We're gonna select this and we're gonna extrude along the x-axis to right about there. So there we go. I'm gonna go here and we're gonna apply a solidify to right about here. I'm gonna apply this solidify, or maybe let's try to create another circle. No, not this, and give it 100 vertices. Let's delete this, RY 90, and we're gonna go into edge mode and we're gonna extrude along the x-axis. I'm gonna select this guy. I'm gonna extrude along the x-axis right about here, and scale it down a bit, scale it just right about there. Then we're gonna go here, apply a solidify, I'm gonna solidify it to right about here. Save this. Alright, the next thing we're gonna turn on cavity. The next thing we're gonna do is we are going to create a cube. I'm gonna go into right view and I'm gonna move it here. I'm gonna go into vertex selection mode and we are going to create a chair. and we're gonna scale on the x-axis to right about here. How we looking? Let's scale this up a bit so we have something like this. Alright, so the next thing what we should be doing is or let's try this. Let's create a cube. Let's scale on the let's just scale it, bring this up, go to the back view and scale on the x-axis to right about there. Let's scale it down and scale on the x-axis, scale a little bit more down, scale it along the x-axis to right about there. Sorry guys if I'm low on energy, just can't go to sleep. Press Alt W and I'm gonna go into box cutter and I'm gonna cut this part. I'm gonna cut this part, and so we have something like this. We're gonna multiply this. I'm gonna go here and we're gonna inset this. I'm gonna bring this up and probably move this behind. Select this vertex. No, let's go to X-ray mode. Select this vertex and bring it to right about here. So we have something like this. Let's create a cylinder, give it 32 volts, rotate it by Y, scale it down, bring this guy up to right about there, scale this guy down and bring it here. Let's scale this up. Let's scale this a little bit more and bring it right about there. Right about there. And no, not play. Go here to modifier and modify it over here. Go to the front view and press Alt W and slice this. And the next thing what we should be doing is select this guy and insert this in, bring this guy up, or maybe bring this guy a little bit more up. And let's create a cylinder RY RX90. Let's go to the front view, let's bring it to right about here, to right about there. Let's go to the right view, let's rotate it to right about there. Let's go to the face selection, G, Z, and bring it to right about here. And we're gonna add some loop cuts and we're gonna bevel them. I'm gonna press Q, left control, shift and macro, and I'm gonna bring this up. Now let's think about this. Maybe if we don't do that, maybe if we control B it to right about there, and we select this edge and we scale this up, we select this edge and we scale this up, we get something like this. No, this is not what I'm looking for. Yeah, that's what I'm looking for. To right about there, I'm gonna select this guy, I'm gonna inset it in, and I'm gonna extrude inwards. Save this. So we have something like this. Let's sharpen these and let's go into edge mode. I'm gonna select this edge and I'm gonna control B it to right about there. Save this. And the next thing what we're gonna do is we're gonna create a cube. We're gonna scale it down. We're gonna go into back view. We're gonna bring this guy up, and we're gonna bring it to y-axis. Bring it down. Scale along the x-axis to right about there. Let's scale it down and bring it to right about here. Let's go to back view and let's select view. Come on. So right about there. Let's rotate it to right about here. There we go. Let's scale it down on the z-axis to right about here. And the next thing what we should be doing is wait. I forgot one thing. The most important thing. Sorry, my chair. I'm gonna select these phases. And I'm gonna shift D this P selection I'm gonna hop out and maybe if we sharpen this, select these phases, shift D, P, selection, select this guy, and next thing what we should be doing is applying a solidify, bring it let's bring this guy down, to right about there. Let's bring these guys down, and let's bring this guy down, and I'm gonna press slash, select this guy, and I'm gonna press slash, not play. The next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna start cutting it. Just a little bit more, and we're gonna cut this guy too, and I'm gonna cut this guy too. I'm gonna click on cyclic and cut this guy here, and cut this guy. Oh, let's do this again. There we go. And we're gonna do cut over here, and we're gonna do a cut over here, I'm gonna press V to array this, press Y and bring it here, extrude it inwards to right about there, and go back into front view, and we're gonna bring this here, and I'm gonna extrude this in. I'm gonna press V and bring it right about here, and there we go. Then we're gonna press slash again. Let's control S this, and let's press Q and mesh tools and left control and radial array, and let's bring this guy up. So we have some grooves. And the next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna do the same thing. We're gonna scale this guy down. We'll bring this up, bring it on the Y, and bring it here, and scale on the Z axis, scale it down, scale on the X axis to right about here, and I'm gonna go into back view, scale it a little bit down, and we're gonna select cube, and gonna go into right view. I'll select this guy and I'm gonna rotate it to right about here, and I'm gonna scale it down on the Z axis to right about there. So we have something like this. Alright, the next thing what we're gonna do is we're gonna create a cylinder, or no, let's just keep it that way. Let's bring this up. Let's go to the top view, bring it here, scale it down. Just bring this guy down. Let's go to the right view, rotate it, YY, GYY, to right about here. Let's go to the face. Now either we can create a cable, or let's just create a cable. Let's what do we do, guys? Let's create a cable. So we're gonna create a path, and we're gonna go into geometry. I'm gonna give it some depth, or Z90, and we are going to scale on the y-axis. I'll bring it here, rotate it, bring it right about here, scale along the x-axis to right about there, bring it down right about here, and we'll go into edit mode. I'm gonna select this vertex and we're gonna bring this up to right about here. So we have something like this. I'm gonna select this guy, we're gonna go into face select, and I'm gonna extrude this up just a little bit, and I'm gonna add a loop cut, bring it here. We're going to add a loop cut over here. I'm gonna go into face select, I'm gonna select all these phases. First we're gonna select all these phases, right click, extrude phase along normals, and bring it down. Right click, extrude phase along normals, and bring it up. Insert this in, extrude this out to right about there, and left control and click to sharpen it. Alright, let's create a, now we have two options. Either we create a exhaust pipe like this guy, or either we create something like this. So let's try creating a cube and scaling it down to right about there. Bring it down to right about there, and I'm gonna rotate it to right about here. I'm gonna go into vertex selection mode, and I'm gonna bring one here, I'm gonna bring one here, and we're gonna add some loop cuts. I'm gonna bring one here, let's see. Let's bring this up. Let's bring this up too. Let's bring this down. Let's see over here. Let's scale on the z-axis. Or maybe if we create a cube, scale it down, bring it here, scale it on the y-axis to right about there, scale on the z-axis to right about here, bring it up. No, that will destroy the seat. Bring it down to right about there. Yeah, that is nice. Now we're gonna go Alt W and gonna go into cut mode, and I'm gonna cut this guy, and I'm gonna cut this guy, and I'm gonna sharpen this. No, so we have something like this. Alright, let's create a cube. Let's save this and go into front view and scale this guy down to right about here, bring it to right about here, and let's go into the front view and scale on the z-axis to right about here. How we're looking. No, scale on the x-axis just a little bit. Now how we looking now? No, scaled on the x-axis to right about here. Okay, so I'm thinking to extrude this, bring it here, connect it over here, just like that one. Let's scale on the x-axis just a little bit more. Let's go into edit mode, X-ray mode. Let's create a loop cut to right about here. And let's create a loop cut to right about here. I'm gonna go into face select. I'm gonna select this face. Select this face, and I'm gonna bring it to right about here. And I'm gonna go into object mode, and I'm gonna press D and select cube. And we're gonna cut all this, so we only have no, I did something wrong. Let's go to the top view and let's cut this portion. So we either have something like this, or we could create a cube and bring it to right about there. Okay, sorry. Let's create a cube and scale this guy down, bring it to right about here, scale on the x-axis to right about there. Let's make this a little bit bigger. Let's go to the front view, go into vortex selection mode or any mode you like, and then Control R and create a loop cut to right about here. Control R and create a loop cut to right about here. Go into face select and let's select these phases and bring it to right about here. Or maybe if we could go to right view, let's turn on cavity and we turn on cut and we go into end gone and go on cyclic, press T to solidify to right about there, and we're gonna make this guy here and something like this. This could do. And how about if we move this guy down a little bit to right about there? Scaled on the x-axis to right about here. I'm gonna Alt X and modify it, mirror it, which is on the other side, and I'm gonna go to right view and I'm gonna go into end gone, cut, and I'm gonna turn on cyclic. I'm gonna select this guy and I'm gonna start cutting something like this. I'm gonna go to the top view and I'm gonna cut something like this. So we have something like this. Let's go to the right view and let's cut something like this. Also, we could cut something over here, something like this, and could no, that's gonna be bad. How about we Yeah, that seems about right. Let's bring this guy up to right about here. And the next thing what we should be doing is let's create some knobs, shall we? Not knobs, but let's scale this guy down, bring it to right about here, bring this guy here, go to the right view, scale it down, bring it here, and scale it up a bit to right about there. Let's scale this guy down, bring this guy here, scale him up, no, not delete, and scale him to right about there. Let's scale him up a bit more, and let's select this and modify and mirror it to the other side. Let's go to the front view, Alt W, and we're gonna select box cutter, and we are going to press X. I'm gonna slice this, and the next thing we're gonna do is, let's see, from the back we are going to, no, let's go to the front view, and we are going to make a cut to right about here, and we're gonna press Q, we're gonna go into ever scroll, and we're gonna shift bool this, and we're going to shift, let's shift D this and make it a bit bigger. Let's select, I'm trying to select both of these, and press Q and difference it, and I'm going to bring this up a bit. No, this doesn't make any sense. Let's delete this. No, let's sharpen this, bring it here, go to the front view, scale it, and bring it back in here, so we have something like this. Shift D this and bring it to right about here, to right about there, so we have something like this. Let's quickly save this, guys. So we have something like this. What's going on over here? Let's go to the back view and let's cut this part. So we have a clean let's save this. Let's sharpen this. Let's go into edge select mode, select this edge, bevel this to right about there, so we have something like this. And I was thinking if we could create something over here too. So let's create a cylinder, RY90. Let's scale this guy down, bring this guy to right about here, scale him to right about there, GNX to right about there. Let's shift click this, Alt X, mirrored on the other side, so we have something like this. Let's go to the front view, Alt W, and let's yeah, I think this is good. Let's cut this area, press X, slice it, and let's create a cut over here. I think this is gonna be on the back side. Let's create a cut over here. To right about there. Ever scroll, shift bool, sharpen this, scaled on the x-axis to right about there, just a bit more, shift D, GNX, and scaled on the x-axis and bring it to something right about there. Save this, Control S. Alright, so we're gonna select this guy, we're gonna shift D this, we're gonna go here, we're gonna bring this guy here and rotate it to right about there and bring it to right about here. Select this, sharpen it, shift D, rotate it to right about here. Let's shift D this, bring this here, rotate it and bring this somewhere right about here. Shift D this and bring it somewhere right about here. Let's inset this and bring it inwards. Let's inset this and bring it inwards. Let's create some Shift D this, G and X, bring it right about here. These are going to be our lights. Let's Shift D this, bring it down, bring it here, and rotate it to right about here. G and Y to right about here. Let's save this. So we have something like this. Now what we're gonna do is we are going to scale on the x-axis to right about there. Maybe not that much. Maybe move it somewhere about here. Scale on the x-axis. Bring it here. Alright, now I'm gonna create a, I'm gonna give it 100 words. I'm gonna RX RY 90 this, scale this guy down, bring it down here, go to the right view, bring it here, and let's scale this guy to right about here, and we're gonna bring him right about here. I'm gonna go to the top view and hide this. I'm gonna select this guy. We're going to edit mode. We're going to go to spin tool, and we're going to select this face. Okay, so this works. So what we're going to do is we are going to create some exhaust pipes. No. I'm gonna sharpen this. Alright, so we're gonna go into face select. We're gonna select these phases and we're gonna extrude phase along normals. I'm gonna select this guy and we're gonna extrude phase along normals, bring it down here. Select this guy, bring it down here. Select this guy and I'm gonna bring it down right about here. I'm gonna select this guy and I'm gonna bring it down okay. I'm gonna select this guy, Alt X, and I'm gonna mirror it to the other side. And I'm gonna go to face, gonna inset this in, extrude this out, inset this in, and extrude inwards. Let's just quickly save this. Okay, now how about if we bring this down a bit, so we have something like this. Maybe we should add some loop cuts. Let's select this, extrude it outwards, select this and extrude it inwards. Or maybe we should bring this guy down, select this guy and bring this guy up, so we have something like this. Or maybe we could select both of these and bring them up, and this sounds nice. Now we're gonna add a plane. I'm gonna bring it down. I'm gonna S9 this. I'm gonna solidify this to right about there. So we have something like this. We're gonna append some materials. Let's append all of these. Let's select this guy, give it metallic. Let's select this guy, and we can do one more thing. We can create a cylinder of 32. I'm going to rotate it along the y-axis. I'm going to scale it down, bring this guy up, bring this guy to right about there, scale it to right about, let's hide this for a moment, Control Z. No, let's hide this. Let's bring this here. Okay, so we're gonna press Q and we're gonna go into mesh tool, then we're gonna radial array this, and let's see, and this sounds right about nice. I'm gonna select this and we're gonna difference this, and I'm gonna Alt X this, and I'm gonna mirror it on the other side. and we are going to select the cylinder, RY90, scale this guy down, bring this guy here. First and foremost, we're going to click this and we're going to press shift and I'm going to press right click to set the origin to cursor. I'm going to bring this guy up, I'm going to scale this guy down, bring him right about here, or maybe delete this, create a cylinder, RY90, scale this guy down to right about there, bring him here, bring him up to right about there, Q, mesh tools and left control and radial array, and bring it down to right about here, and the next thing what we're gonna do is we're gonna select this guy. Okay, so this is probably not gonna work. Q difference, so we have something like this. Let's hide this. Let's shift and left click and create a cylinder, RY90, scale it down to right about here, bring it up, Q, mesh tools, left control, radial array, shift click this, Q, difference it, hide it. Let's select this edge, control B it to right about there, and let's save this. So we have something like this. Let's save this. Let's go back and give this Alright, the next thing what we're gonna do is we're gonna go into shading, and we're gonna go into world, and I'm gonna turn the world settings down, and we're gonna create volume absorption, plug the volume into volume, and probably 0.02 is gonna be it. I'm probably gonna delete this. I'm gonna delete this light, and I'm gonna create a area light, bring it here, and bring it over there, shift E, bring it here, shift E, bring it here. Okay, now we have to adjust these lights. I'm gonna give it maybe 500, 200, 100, and I'm gonna select this. We're gonna go into camera, gonna bring it back. I'm gonna bring this back, and I'm gonna bring this back over here. I'll bring this to right about here, and we're gonna disk this, and we're gonna give this bluish, orange, or maybe we're gonna give this a bit orange color. I'm gonna select this guy, and I'm gonna press D, and we are going to add something like this to right about here, and go to the left side, and I'm gonna add something like this. Probably if we would bring it outside a bit. Let's go into shading and give it 0.01 or maybe 0.1. No, that's too much foggy. 0.01 or 0.02, 0.03. No, 0.02 is okay. I'm gonna go into object settings, and I'm gonna select this guy. I'm gonna delete this, and create a principal BSDF, or maybe, yeah, I'm gonna delete this, and I'm gonna create a BSDF. Plug the BSDF to surface. I'm gonna create a bump node, plug the normal to the normal, bring the base color down. Then we're going to create a noise texture, bring it here, plug the factor into the height, gonna bring the detail up. I don't know what happened there. What's going on? Okay, I have an idea. Let's just create another plane. Go to the right view, bring it down. S9 and create new. Create a bump node. Create a noise texture. Please don't mess with me. Yeah, thank you. Bring the base color down, detail up to right about there. Let's save this quickly. So there you go, guys. Your sci-fi gyroscope machine is complete. Feel free to edit some stuff if you want to. If you enjoyed this tutorial, give it a like, give it a thumbs up, comment, subscribe, share. As always, stay frosty, and Frosti-Town signing out.